So here we are in Act 1, Scene 3. We just finished speaking with the witches. They vanished. And Macbeth and Banquo have a moment where they're looking at each other. You can see them confused, almost asking, has this really happened? The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished? Whither, meaning where? Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed. Obviously, he probably wants to question them more. Were such things here as we do speak about, or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? And he looks at him. Your children shall be kings. Banquo has a one-up. You shall be king. And Thane of Cawdor, too, went it not so? Do the self-same tune and words. Who's here? And more of their party have arrived. Not really of their party, of people that are on their side. So these are men that they know and have fought with. The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads the personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his. Silenced with that in viewing over the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. So all the messengers coming back with news from the front have said the same thing, that Macbeth has delivered unto the king these successes and these wins, and he's quite pleased with him. We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. So we have to take you with us. And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine. Now this is just after the witches have called him Thane of Cawdor. Immediately, people of this earth, people they know and trust, also call him Thane of Cawdor. So the look on Banquo's face must have been priceless. What? Can the devil speak true? The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes? So the metaphor, why are you putting on these adornments that would represent the nobility of this other person? Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he laboured in his country's wreck, I know not, but treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him. So he was a traitor, he was found out, and regardless, he's not going to be alive for very long. Now that word aside, you probably already know. It means that even with people on stage with this person speaking, the audience hears him or her, but the mates on stage with him, the characters, do not. And so it's always the truth, and it's this internalized talking. If not, we would just be standing there or sitting there as audiences while people just stood there staring off into space on stage, and we wouldn't get any insight. Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. So he is already Glamis, now he's Thane of Cawdor, but look at this one. The greatest is behind. And what's greater than Lord or Thane would be the king. So he turns back to them. Thanks for your pains. And then aside to Banquo. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them? So they're pretty amazed. So they're just speaking in confidence to each other. That trusted home might yet enkindle you onto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and now this I'd have you write down, because it's a warning. Oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles to betray us in deepest consequence. So the instruments of darkness, evil, the witches, the devil, whomever it is that is trying to lure you down the wrong path, they often start by telling truths. So the greatest cons have a lot of truth in them, gets you to trust them. And then, for whatever their dark purposes, they get betrayed. So then he brings the other gentleman over to him to have a word, and Macbeth gets to speak more of the truth of his thinking to the audience. Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. So not much to interpret there. Prologues come first. The imperial theme is the crown. These things already happened. Could the crown be next? And then he interrupts by thanking them. I thank you, gentlemen, and then back to his truth-telling to us, to himself. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, so if bad, why have they given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. So that all worked out well. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? So even thinking about the witches granting him the king and what he might have to do to become king has got him quite unsettled. The hair is all up in the back of his neck. Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise. And nothing is but what is not. And that's a really good line too. Nothing is quite like it seems right now. And again, they look at him because he's staring off into space, thinking deeply. Look how our partner's wrapped. And Macbeth seems to come to a decision here, and we would write this down. If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir. So he's putting some emphasis on fate here, chance, fate, luck, the powers that be. If they intend him to be king, they will find a way to make him king without him interfering in how that would happen. New honors come upon him like our strange garments, cleave not to their molds, but with the aid of use. So this is a little shocking for him. He's making excuses for the look on his face. He's got these this new role now, Thane of Cawdor, and he's just thinking it through. And Macbeth finishes his thought. Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. Give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered, where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. And then he has a last whisper with Banquo. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other. So later on we're going to have a chat about this. It's a little strange. Very gladly. Till then, enough. Come, friends.